My voice is audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Can hear you.
So, good morning, all. Today, we are going to see the demo on Linux plus AWS package. Linux administration plus AWS. First, I will explain about the Linux administration. Scratch onwards, we are going to start. From physical environment to virtual environment. Top of that, we have cloud. So, first of all, everybody understand what are the different types of operating systems. Generally, an operating system is nothing but a collection of files and software programs. The most widely used operating system is Windows. Because Windows is a graphical user interface, anybody they can easily understand, easy to learn, easy to work. In Windows, we have two types of operating systems. One is client OS, second one is server OS. So what is client, what is server? So generally, server provide resources to clients. Clients access the resources from servers. So if you go for internet, your Gmail account, YouTube channels, whatever it may be, you are accessing, those are servers. Our mobile is client. From client, we are accessing the resources. If you go to any bank, all the bank employees, they can have Windows systems, but whatever the application they are using, the bank related application, that is backend running on servers. So server provide resources to clients. Clients access the resources from servers. So we are going to learn server administration, but not on Windows, Linux. Unix or Linux, everybody will confuse. Linux is a flavor of Unix. So Unix flavors of Sun Solaris, now it is Oracle Solaris, IBM AX Unix, HP Unix, SCO Unix, Linux also. But Linux is a open source. Open source means anybody, they can easily download the source kernel from internet. You can add some features. It is a freeware. You can add some features, you can release on operating system. I can add some features, I can release on operating system. Like that, in Linux, we have number of flavors are there. Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Oracle Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Linux Server, CentOS, Fedora Linux, SUSE Linux, like that. Number of flavors are there. But what we are going to learn, that is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So most of the servers in production environment, we are going to use Red Hat Enterprise Linux servers. But here one question can be raised. So if you learn Red Hat Enterprise Linux, when we go for interview in the particular company, they are using Ubuntu Linux servers. So is it required again learn to Ubuntu Linux server? No need to required, because concept is same. Structure of operating system is same. Most of the commands are same. Only some of the administration commands will be different. So like, yeah, Arjun, tell me, Arjun. Mr. Arjun, do you have any doubt? Arjun Galaxy, do you have any doubt? See, everybody, my voice is clear.
Yes.
So like that, we have number of flavors in Linux. Any flavor, if you want to learn, you can learn on any other flavors. So this is the structure of Linux hardware. Kernel, top of the kernel, we have a shell. There is architecture. Top of the shell, we are using the working. So user give the commands, programs, whatever it may be, he is working on this. So shell is the security layer in Linux. Shell will not allow you to run any unknown commands. Shell will not allow you to unknown programs. That is the reason viruses will attack on viruses will not attack on Linux operating system. So if you go for Windows, you can check the structure of Windows. Hardware, kernel, user application. So here user directly interacting with kernel. That is the reason whatever the program you run, it will run. If it is a virus program, it will run the program. If you're on pen drive, you have a virus. If I put into my laptop, automatically virus files will be attacked. So that is the reason the most of the valuable crores of rupees databases and applications and web applications and more workload database servers we are going to use on Linux servers. So architecture level, we have shell is there. So coming to the OS level. So after installation of your Linux OS, you started to work. For example, I created one user account Raj. So he created one file. Touch is the command to create a file in Linux. So whenever the user created a file, the permissions are divided into three portions. User means owner having read-write permissions. User group means owners group are having read-only permissions. Owner group means Raj is a member of AWS group. In AWS, again, his team is there. So they are called user group members. They are having read-only permissions. Other group members like AWS, we have DevOps, Java, .NET, team leaders, managers, like different groups. Those all are come under other groups. They are having read-only permissions. So when we are working with Linux, if you send a file to me, so I can have only read permissions. But when we are working with Windows, if you send a document to me, I can do anything, read, write, modify, delete. There is no file level permissions in Windows. There is a file level permissions in Linux. So architecture level, we have shell is there, and OS level, we have file permissions are there. This much of security is available in Linux. That is the reason the valuable crores of rupees databases and web applications we are going to run Linux servers. So why I am explaining this Linux administration? So as a cloud administrator, you are going to launch with Linux servers. You are going to work with some Linux servers. So that is the reason you must have the strong knowledge on Linux server administration while you are going to learn the cloud environment. That is also I will show you today only practically how to launch Linux server from cloud. Like this is, if you go for AWS, DevOps, somebody they want to learn VMware administration, somebody interested on databases like big data, Hadoop, middleware application like IBM WebSphere web applications, SAP enterprise applications, whatever it may be, whatever the technology you are going to learn. So with this in-depth administration of Linux, you can go for the other technology. Then you can put into your resume, I have a Linux administration skills. If you are having a gap between your degree, 3+4+, you can fill with Linux administration plus cloud environment, like any environment, whatever it may be. And somebody they are interested in scripting also, Python, Java, PHP, Perl, Ruby, MySQL, SQL databases here also. So we must have the strong knowledge on Linux administration. So how much knowledge you have, depending upon that only you can write the programs. So that is the reason. So Linux, strong administration skills are required, because in entry point of view, 70 to 80% they will ask on the Linux. Next questions they will ask on this supporting tools. Next, coming to the Linux administration course is divided into two parts: standalone administration, network administration. So before going to learn this administration tasks, first 1 week we are going to learn about basics of Linux: creating files, directories, copying directories, removing files, removing directories. Windows, simply right click new folder, right click copy paste, right click cut to paste. Like that in Linux, each and everything we are going to with command line only. Any configuration in Linux we are going to do with the command prompt only. So standalone and network administration. So standalone installation of Linux. What is the operating system directory in Linux? Like in Windows, the operating system directory is C drive. C is corrupted, your Windows is corrupted. But D drive data, E drive data, is it safe or not? It is safe. Format C drive, you can get the data back. Like in Linux, what is the operating system directory? Slash. Under slash we have structure is there, that is we are going to learn in our classes. Next, managing the disks in Linux, creating new partitions, formatting partitions, booting process of Linux OS, different run levels in Linux, group management, user management, quotas, advanced file permissions, memory management, process management. Like in Windows, you can see, go to task manager. Here you can check your process, how which processes are running front end, which processes are running back end. So how much CPU utilization is going on, how much memory utilization is going on, disk reads per second, writes per second, network input packets, output packets. Like that, as a Linux administrator, you have to analyze the process in Linux servers. So that is we are going to learn process management. So package management. After installation of Linux, how to install new packages, how to upgrade the existing packages, how to remove the unnecessary packages, we are going to learn here. Then online package manager. In Windows Server, we have a concept is called WSUS, Windows Software Update Service, online updations. You can see when you are working with your laptop, if you have internet connection directly, it will ask you, there is a new update is coming. Do you want to install now or later? Same like in Linux, we are going to learn M server. And the LVM and RAID levels are combining the disks as a single logical device. Multiple hard disks we can combine as a single device. So when you are going to install a huge databases, we need more space. For that, we need to combine the disks. So that is the concept we are going to learn in LVM and RAID levels. Next, this is the regular tasks in any environment: backup and restore. What are the backup tools in Linux? How to take the files and directories backup? How to copy the data from one disk to another disk? So everything we are going to learn here. So automation of jobs, scheduling jobs. A particular task, particular point of time I have to run. So every day, no need to remember. So you can make it schedule automatically. The server will run the tasks. So this is standalone management. See here, there is no single word of network. So 80% of the questions they will ask from this location only. Then we can go for the networking concepts. So configuration of networking. So how to configure the Linux operating system in the network, how to give the computer name, how to give the IP address, and what is telnet server, what is SSH server, FTP server, file servers, FTP, NFS, Samba. Next to domain name service, name resolution purpose. So Apache web server, how to configure the websites in Linux, Centralization of administration. Now we are in centralization of administration. So how to set up the centralized server in Linux, and dynamic host configuration for protocol, how to assign the DHCP IP addresses to clients automatically, and Linux kickstart server, how to install at a time 100 Linux operating systems within 1 hour or 2 hours through network. So we can configure one server as a kickstart server. This is overall Linux administration in-depth course. So whatever the course I am going to teach you for Linux administration, you can easily put the experience of 3+ or 4 years of experience. You can put that much of in-depth knowledge I am going to give on that Linux administration, because I am having 20 years of experience on this. Solaris administration, IBM AX, HP Unix, Windows Server administration, CCNA, and VMware virtualization administration. Now this cloud computing now. So when I am going to teach you the class, I will differentiate the operating systems. They can easily understand Windows like this, in Linux how it will, in cloud how it will. So everything I will differentiate. Then you can easily understand each and every topic. Next, we are coming to the cloud environment. So this is before 2006 year. All these what we discussed about, all the Linux servers and Windows servers, whatever it may be, they are going to run physically. Physical environment. First understand everybody. Physical infrastructure. First understand physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure means, for example, you can take your laptop. That is physical. So you bought a laptop, top of that you installed Windows OS. This is physical server. For example, we are using client, in real times we are using server OS. This is physical server. Top of this you installed applications. Top of that you installed applications. Oppo, is there any doubts? Please ask me any doubt. Oppo, your audio is not connected. Please connect your audio. Just a minute. Oppo, your audio is not connected. Please check with audio. So, okay. Now, for example, what I am explaining, this is your physical infrastructure, physical laptop you are using. Now, I spent 35,000 rupees to buy my laptop, but you can check my actual utilization. My CPU utilization 12%, 11%, or 9%, depending upon the requirement. My memory utilization 24%. See, I invested 35,000 rupees, but I am worth rupees minimum below 30% of the resources only. What about remote remaining resources? Wasting the resources. Wasting the resources means wasting the money. Actual utilization is below 30% only, but you paid the money 100%, 35,000 rupees. So the technology is run up to 2006. 2006, we enter into the virtualization technology. Without a virtualization, there is no cloud, remember. What is virtualization technology? So this is physical infrastructure. So the companies, they used physical data centers. So physical server, only one OS, top of that operating system application. Again, if you want to go for another application, buy another server. If we are unutilizing the resources also, in that time we cannot do. because these technologies are not there in that particular point of time. So you have to spend the money for each and every physical server, but wasting the resources. Wasting the resources are nothing but wasting the money. For example, 50 lakhs you invested to buy 100 servers. So 50% of the resources are wasting. Whatever it may be, databases you can run, maximum 50 to 60% only. So remaining resources are wasting. Wasting the resources are nothing but wasting the money. So physical servers, server means remember hardware. Physical server, top of that platform, Windows or Linux, top of that application. Physical network, physical storage, everything physical, physical, physical. These are called physical data centers. So physical data center, I will show you how they will be built. Physical data centers in Hyderabad. For example, I am explaining you. Data centers. See like this. Hundreds of servers. See Microsoft data center in Hyderabad. Upcoming Amazon data center in Hyderabad. See like this. These are called racks. In these racks, they will put the servers. So network, storage, everything they are going to manage from one data center. So from these data centers, the clients means the who are working with Amazon, who are working with Microsoft, you are not going to directly to the data center. You are not going to in front of the server. You are not going to work. So you are going to work through remotely. Remotely, you are accessing these servers. So all are these data center, Oracle data centers, whatever it may be, all the data centers we are having. These are physical data centers. So in earlier days, in these physical data centers, just now what I explained you, some of the resources are wasting. That is the reason now they introduced virtualization technology. What happened in virtualization technology? Top of your physical hardware, you can install an virtualization layer. Top of that, as many as servers you can configure. So through virtualization, one single physical computer, you can install multiple virtual servers. Multiple virtual servers. These are called machines also, virtual machines or virtual servers. So here what is happening, whatever my unnecessary resources, wasting resources, I can share for multiple machines. For example, in my laptop only I will display. So my resources are wasting. So what I done, I installed VMware Workstation, one virtualization software. So left side you can see top of that this much of machines I created. RHL 610 AM batch, 11 AM batch, 12 PM batch, 6 PM batch. See how many machines I installed. So one physical computer, I installed number of virtual machines. These virtual machines utilize my physical servers unwanted resources. Whatever my physical resources are not usable, CPU resource, memory resource, I allocated to them. See, 2 GB RAM. I have 8 GB RAM. I shared my RAM to multiple machines. So at a time, I can power on 8 machines here. My processor is shared. My hard disk is shared. My DVD is shared. Network adapter is shared. USB controllers are shared. This is shared virtual machine files. See, without paying single rupee, so I configured here 9 or 10 servers. But if there is no virtualization, if I am going to take classes of Windows servers, I need to buy 2 machines. Linux server classes, 2 machines. Solaris administration classes, 2 machines. For CCNA class, 1 server is required. Like that, I have to invest a lot of money. So before virtualization. But now we are in virtualization. I bought only one laptop. I can teach any technology without buying any hardware, external hardware. This is virtualization technology. So this is ready-made machines. Already I configured here. So I can select this machine. I can power on this. Now my Linux server is ready. See, my Linux server is ready. See, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So I can teach Linux server administration classes here. See, same in cloud also, top of this virtualization, what they implemented cloud. Remember, without a virtualization, there is no cloud. Anybody ask you a question, simply give the answer. Where the cloud fits? Cloud fits on virtualization. If there is no virtualization, there is no cloud platform. Remember, if anybody asks you a question, give the simple answer. If there is no virtualization, there is no cloud. Top of the virtualization only, cloud is implemented. See, just now I explained these technologies. Physical servers means physical hardware. Top of that virtualization layer, top of the virtualization layer, I installed so many virtual machines depending upon my capacity of my hardware. Real times high-end hardware servers, 64 CPUs, 64 terabyte RAM. Like depending upon how much hardware requirements you have, that many of servers you can configure. Top of this cloud is implemented, either private cloud or hybrid cloud or public cloud. So through cloud, what we are doing, we are accessing these machines. We are accessing the storage. We are accessing the network. But how much resources utilized? That much money only have to pay. No need to investment single rupee. Just to take the rent of the machine. For example, on Linux server, take rent. Configure one web server. Start your web business. E-commerce website business. If your business is going to be popular, then you can go for another machine. Like that. Depending upon your requirement, how much resources you are going to utilize, that much resources only you can utilize, that much of money only you have to pay. Taking the resources for rent is nothing but cloud. Remember these points. Remember, first physical servers I explained you, physical environment. After that virtualization technology came. Top of the virtualization, we implemented the servers, storage and everything. Top of this virtualization, cloud is implemented. But this virtualization is restricted to your company environment only. But this is cloud is expandable through internet. They are maintaining a huge servers. Just now I showed you. This is Amazon, upcoming Amazon data centers in Hyderabad. So top of this physical infrastructure, they installed virtualization. Top of that, they implemented their cloud softwares. Through cloud softwares, they are providing resources to us. So you can now accessing the resources, you are paying the money. How you used internet connection? In earlier days, we have internet caves are there. So you are going to the internet center, you are browsing for 1 hour or 2 hours, you are paying 10 rupees or 15 rupees or 20 rupees. So that environment is not us. But utilizing the resource, you paid money. Cloud also same. So utilizing how much utilizations you are going to use, that much money only you have to pay. First point you have to remember before entering into the cloud, physical infrastructure, top of that virtualization layer. Virtualization is nothing but operating system. VMware vSphere hypervisor servers, Citrix Zen server, Microsoft Hyper-V. These are the bare metal operating systems. Bare metal means directly you can install on your hardware. How you install your Windows on your hardware, laptop, like that I can install ESXi server. I have Windows Hyper-V server and Citrix Zen server. So top of that I can create machines. Top of that cloud is implemented. Now coming to the cloud. Cloud computing. See, so many demos I seen some others. Directly they are starting from cloud. But before cloud, what exactly the environment is there? If you understand, you can easily understand cloud computing, what is happening in cloud. Without understand background, what is going on, so we cannot understand the concept is coming. What are the concepts we're discussing, how they are coming, the question marks will always in your mind. That is the reason I explained. What we are going to learn backend, there is a physical infrastructure. Top of that, there is a virtualization. Top of that, cloud implemented. From cloud, we are accessing the resources. That is the concept. Just now I explained you, Windows servers, Linux servers, you are going to launch in cloud environment. So these are called virtual servers, or cloud technical word they given instance. Instance is nothing but a virtual server. Virtual servers also called as a virtual machines. So why cloud computing? To understand why cloud, we have to understand the existence of data centers before cloud. I already explained this point with the diagrams. Before cloud, we have a physical data centers. Each and every system is physically, we have to take the hardware, we have to install the OS, we have to install the applications. So everything you have to manage. If you want to develop any application or website, you need to buy one server. You need to manage a group of servers. You need to manage your network. Everything we have to manage physically. This is I explained you. Physical network, physical storage, physical servers means I told you hardware. Top of that, virtualization. Top of that, Linux platform or Windows platform, middleware applications, a runtime program, Java, C++, on where you are developing your softwares. Top of the databases. Finally, you can get the application. These are called on-premises servers. So top of this, cloud implemented. So nowadays we are getting everything online, online food offering, online shoppings, online reservations. This is called digital data. When you need to store huge data, you need more space. Cost plus monitoring plus maintenance, everything managed by the cloud. You no need to do anything. Everything they will manage, just you have to pay the money. So what is cloud computing? Simply they asked a question. Accessing the resources from internet is called cloud computing. Remember, accessing the resources from internet is called cloud computing. What type of resources? Compute resources, just now explained you. Servers you can access, storage you can access, network you can access, media services you can access, databases you can access. All are ready-made. All are ready-made. Already told you. Top of the virtualization layer, already this setup we are going to implement. So top of that, by using cloud, you are accessing that resources. So you can store your database and application on remote servers. You can process your database and applications from remote servers, accessing your resources via internet. For example, you have a Gmail account. I have a Gmail account. Is your Gmail account is located in your laptop? Is my Gmail account is located locally in my laptop? No, your Gmail account where it is, you don't know. My Gmail account where it is located, the origin server, the original server where our mail accounts are there, you don't know, I don't know. But through internet, you are accessing your Gmail account. Through internet, I am accessing my Gmail account. We are sending mail, receiving mail, whatever it may be, that is the process going on. But the Gmail account is not in your computer, in my computer. If internet is disconnected from your mobile, if internet is disconnected from my laptop, a totally 1 week internet is not available. You cannot access your Gmail because that is in remote location. Like cloud also, you are going to manage your servers and everything databases on remote locations. Your local system data can move to cloud. If you want to move your data into cloud, you can move like a Google Drive. Google Drive is the best example of cloud. You can upload your files, movies, videos, photos, everything you can put on the Google Cloud. Wherever you are, across the world, you can access your Google Drive, you can access your files and directories. So benefits of cloud computing. If you want any IT resource, you can get immediately. What you require, you can get in minutes. No need to buy any hardware and software. Remember, if you want to any IT resource, you can get immediately. What you require, you can get in minutes. No need to buy any hardware and software. They are available ready-made. For example, now immediately I want to require one Linux server. Immediately. I don't want to buy any hardware. I don't want to buy any software. I don't have money. But I need one Linux server for practicing purpose. So create one AWS account, free of cost, 1 year. Log into your account. Within minutes, I can launch my Linux server. Not only Linux, Windows also. If you want to log in, Windows also you can log in. Sir, already I told you that is ready-made, already is there, predefined. Machines are available, top of virtualization already built. Through cloud application, we are accessing that resources. Go to servers, EC2 instances. Instances is nothing but a virtual servers. Launch my server. Which servers? Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Red Hat servers, SUSE Linux server, already explained you, Linux flavors, Microsoft Windows servers. So I want to launch one Linux server. Select the server which you want to launch depending upon your requirement. Review and launch. Launch the server. Launch instance. See, my Linux server is ready. Now I can log into my Linux server from my local laptop. See, server is ready. Like just power on your, how you are powering on your Windows every day from your laptop, just to powering on your switch. Just you are launching my server. Means I am powering on the server. So automatically the cloud people will provide one public IP address to you because your laptop is private network. But we are in the cloud environment. My server is in cloud. So here public IP they given. Copy this IP address. Go to your local laptop. Open Putty software. Paste your IP address. Select SSH. So this is classes in depth, each and every point I will give you explanation. But to example purpose I am showing you. Now my server is ready. I am ready to log into my server. So default username of Linux they given EC2-user. Login as administrator. Now you can do anything. So if you want to create partitions, you can create partitions, create user account, user ad, Raj. So if you want to create files, you can create files in Linux, whatever the Linux administration tasks we are going to see. Like my computer in Windows, we have df-h command in Linux. Like they see, within minutes, I logged in my Linux server. I can start working with my Linux server. Database server I want to require. I can log in. I can launch database server. Database is ready to use. So no need to configure. Everything ready made. But how much resources utilized? That much money of only you have to pay. After your work is completed, for example, practical scenario. After your work is completed, terminate it. Tomorrow again I can launch my server. Tomorrow again I can practice. Like that, you can create one account. So every day we are going to log into our account, we are going to do the practice sessions. That is the point here I explained you. Whatever the resources you want to require, you can get in minutes. No need to buy any hardware and any software. Depending upon your requirement, you can scale up and scale down the resources. So if you want to increase the CPUs, you can increase. If you want to increase the storage, you can increase. You can access the data from anywhere. Your data is stored in a secure location. So through your AWS management console only you can manage. So through your Gmail account only you are logging to your Gmail, you are doing your sending mails, receiving mails. Nobody can access. That is very secure. Like service models in cloud. So what services they are providing? Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So depending upon the organization requirements, so they are going to choose which they are going to take, which service they are going to take rent. Infrastructure as a service, what cloud will provide. So you have application, everything you have to manage, but they will provide a basic infrastructure like network, storage, and hardware they will provide. So top of that, you can build your platform. Platform means Linux or Windows server, whatever the applications you want to manage, whatever the database servers you want to manage, you can manage them. But for this, you have to pay the rent. Platform as a service. In this model, cloud people provide platform as a service. So you have a code, you developed one code, you want to deploy it, but you don't want to use your own platform. Then cloud will provide the platform. So you can deploy it, everything managed by them, but you can deploy your application. So you can use your application. Next to software as a service. I don't want to use anything. Software as also they are going to be managed. For example, supermarket, I am going to start, or Ola cab business, whatever, Zomato. So they have some applications. So what they want to do, they are not going to buy the servers. They are not going to recruit the staff with databases and applications. So many technical people they require. What they will do, they have to contact cloud people. This is my type of business, Zomato business, supermarket business. I need this type of application software for accessing the customers. So cloud providers leases the applications or softwares which are owned by them. They will only by manage as your requirements. This is your requirement. So they will manage, you have to pay the money. That is software as a service. For example, already I told you Gmail, we are not managing, they are managing, we are utilizing. But Gmail is a free account. This is on-premises servers. Initially, I explained you, everything managed by us. Networking, storage, servers, virtualization, operating systems, middleware, runtime, databases, everything you have to invest the money. So you have to take the staff, you have to manage. Now infrastructure as a service, orange color. Networking, storage, servers, virtualization, cloud will provide. Platform, middleware, runtime, database applications, you have to manage. Platform as a service. Up to runtime, they will provide the rent. Just database and application optimization, you have to manage. That is under your control. So software as a service, everything managed by cloud, but you have to pay the money. As per your requirement, they will develop the software. You have to pay the rent, how much resources you are utilizing every month. You can get the bill. Just you have to pay the money. This is three service models they are providing. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Then deployment models, public cloud. A public cloud is a type of computing in which a service providers make resources available to the public via the internet. For example, gmail.com, I told you, Google Drive. But some public cloud providers offer resources for free. We are using free only. While clients pay for other resources by subscriptions, pay-per usage model. Simple example. My Gmail account is free. Okay. Now go to your Google Drive. Every person who created Gmail account, they will provide one Google Drive also, free of cost. But up to how much space they are providing? 15 G. This is public cloud only, free free service only, but they are giving a limited space to you, 15 GB of the space, your Google Drive space. So if you want to get more space, here there is an option buy storage. Click on buy storage. So 15 GB free of cost. And also they are providing pay per usage model. So for 100 GB, if you want to get more space from the Google, pay 130 rupees per month. At a time you pay annually, 17% discount will come. If you want to get 200 GB, 210 rupees you have to pay the money per month. So 17% discount is available for annual one-time payment, like that. So public cloud means like that. So most of the public cloud service providers providing public at free of cost, but some subscriptions also there, like just now I showed you. Private cloud. The private cloud defined as a computing services offered either over the internet or a private internal network. For example, Infosys.com, Microsoft.com, they have their internal confidential servers are there. Maybe they are running on cloud environment, or they have to manage internally some servers, very confidential servers. So private internal network and only to selected users instead of the general public. Only Infosys employees only can access that servers. Only Microsoft employees only they can access that servers. They have to manage their own staffing, management and maintenance expenses, everything they have to manage as a traditional data center. For example, so you can go here. Go to your web browser, type www.infosys.com. This is public server. You can access, I can access, everybody can access. What are the careers in Infosys? Who are the investors? Everything. This is public server. So everybody can access this one. But Infosys has a background. They have private servers. They are developing so many applications, softwares. They are giving support to the clients. So those servers cannot be accessible by public. So for that, what they are doing, they are recruiting some staff for managing, developing, whatever it may be. So these public servers you can access, I can access. For private servers, if I am a Infosys employee, I can access my private server. But others, they cannot access. That is private cloud. But these public servers and private servers both are managing Infosys only. See, whatever this website is there, so every time they are going to up to date this one. So how it is up to dating? Background, there is a private server, developers are there. They are developing some updates. They will make it available to public. So these public servers and private servers should be communicate. For that, they are going to use hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud is a solution that combines a private cloud with one or more public cloud services with proprietary software. Means they have to use their own softwares by enabling communication between each distinct service. Hybrid cloud services are powerful because they give businesses greater control over the private data. So your private data cannot expose to public. Your public data can expose to public. But your private cloud data and public cloud data, your company's data should be communicated. So this is practically in our VPC class, we are going to see private servers should not expose to internet. Public servers should be exposed to internet, but these two must be communicated. How to do the configuration? In our coming VPC classes in AWS, we are going to learn. This is overall hybrid cloud, combination of both public and private cloud. So internally you have your own staff, everything you have to manage your data center. Public cloud offered to the public people. So to communicate these two public and private cloud, we need hybrid cloud. Now think about, this is cloud computing. For any cloud computing, if it is AWS, Azure, GCP, whatever it may be, demo is same. But here, who is providing cloud providers? That is important point. So this is overall cloud computing deployment model plus service models. Nothing but total cloud computing. Now cloud providers, who is providing cloud services? AWS. The leader of the cloud, 2006 it is established. It is a very popular and experienced in cloud. So many companies, they are using the services. AWS servers capacity, just now I told you, data centers, means that is the servers, physical servers capacity is about 6 times larger than the next 12 competitors. Netflix, world's largest media company, everybody knows. So they have their all servers and network, everything they deployed on the cloud environment. Expedia, the most world famous travel booking company, they are also having the, like this, so many companies. Like Microsoft Azure, the next place goes to the Azure cloud. It is also a fast growing cloud environment. They established in 2010. They are still, AWS has more than 200 plus services, but Azure, maybe they are coming into the 100 plus services, and they are fast growing cloud environment. GCP, Google Cloud Platform, it is in the 3rd place, followed by DigitalOcean, IBM Cloud, Terramark. We have different types of clouds are there. But here scenario is, if you learn any one of the cloud, you can easily work on the other clouds only. Just you have to know the technical word differences. So configurations, the purpose of work is same, but the way of accessing the resources is nothing but different. So in AWS, we are calling as instance, virtual server. Just now I launched Linux. In AWS Azure cloud, they are calling as a VM. In GCP, they are calling as a VM. Here VPC, virtual private cloud, technical word, they called as a VNet. Concept is same, configurations are same, but technical words will be different. Like that, if you learn any one of the cloud, we can easily understand other clouds. You can also work with another clouds in your companies. So these are the most cloud providers, top 3, AWS, Azure, and Google cloud platforms. This is overall Linux administration plus cloud environment demo class. So tomorrow we'll continue the next class. What is AWS? What is differences between virtualization and cloud computing? What are the architecture of cloud? And what are the resources we are going to learn? What are the contents we are going to learn? These things tomorrow we are going to discuss. So first we are going to start here AWS class. So after that, the same timing. So if anybody come to Linux plus AWS, first AWS will start. After AWS is completed, we are going to start Linux administration same timing. If anybody wants to learn parallelly, we can have multiple batches of Linux administration classes also. Parallelly, you can also attend. Morning 8 o'clock AWS, evening 5 o'clock Linux. Like that, number of batches I am going to take Linux plus AWS. So parallelly also you are going to learn. So if you have any doubts, please ask me in this session.
Ashina, this is Rajesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question regarding the AWS certification. How many different kind of the certification is there in AWS? And if I attend these classes, then which kind of certification I can pass through these classes? And different levels is there. How can which syllabus will cover in which kind of the certification? Can you explain that as well?
Everybody can start with AWS Solutions Architect Associate certification only. I will show you. This is AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. This is the course we are going to learn. This is the first certification we are going to do. Next, you can go for the developer track if you are a developer. But nobody is teaching developer course in anywhere. So once you want to learn any one of this advanced AWS service certified developer associate, sysops, whatever, this is very rare conditions they are going to write the exams. So out of 100 people, 98% they are going to write the certification of AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. That is the course we are going to learn. Is there any doubt?
Sir, you integrate any your course to Java code or Python real-time example?
Yeah, if you have a Java code, directly we can deploy into our cloud.
Yes. Suppose you integrate, suppose is SNS or SQS, that type the integrate. How type the integrate your code through Java code?
Yes, all are we are going to do. We are going to discuss in our classes. Tomorrow that content I will explain what we are going to do, what we are going to learn. Each and every topic I will give the brief introduction tomorrow class.
Okay. How many days is the course the Amazon Web Service, sir?
30 to 35 days.
35 days. After that, you Linux administrator course is the started, na?
Yeah, same time Linux administration course.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have total 3 years of experience in testing domain. I am doing manual as well as automation testing. So is there any prerequisite to learn this courses?
No need, no need. Already you are
Okay.
having the knowledge is there on 180. It is enough.
Okay. And the combination of this Linux and AWS courses, this will run for around how many days?
Total
Yes.
course 2 months.
Okay. And daily it will be 8 to 9.
8 to 9 daily the same
Okay.
class.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Hi, Srinivas.
Yeah.
Yeah, from when the Linux administration batch will start? Actually, I'm thinking to take both the.
Linux administration day
Yeah.
after tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 o'clock, new batch.
Okay, that will also last for 35 days, right?
Yes. Parallelly, you can complete both AWS and Linux in 35 days.
Okay. And one more thing, can we get these recordings once you finish the class on daily basis, or how we can get these recordings?
Recording, what you are.
Yeah. About the recordings, can we get these recordings from your side?
See, once anybody taken the admission, first immediately I will send all my previous class complete recording videos to your Google Drive. Okay. All videos, AWS and Linux, plus real-time interview questions and answers, step-by-step practical scenario lab notes. This type of all the materials from my side, I will send to you. And daily recordings, whatever our classes are going on, daily it will be record. This daily records, they will send, Durgasoft people send to your mail IDs. So first initially, I will send all my record sessions. Daily record sessions, they will also send to your mail IDs through Google Drive, everyday classes.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any other question? See,
Yeah, will we get hands-on session also, like some dedicated classes for that?
yeah, everything, each and everything hands-on only we are going to do, every topic.
Okay.
Every topic we are going to learn hands-on only. See, AWS training prerequisite is absolute beginners. No prior AWS experience is necessary. Previous system administration or development knowledge would be added advantages. System administrators interested in deploying applications on AWS, cloud computing enthusiasts, so they are eligible. So anybody can learn AWS. But if you have already IT experience like testing or Java developer or whatever it may be, then you can come into AWS. So you are a fresher. Just you are going to learn AWS. With AWS, you must learn the Linux administration, because so you can have the multiple skill knowledge there, complete Linux administration skills with the cloud environment. So that is my suggestion. And already you are working as a Windows administrator. Already you are working as a Linux administrator. Then you can go for cloud computing, deploy the applications very easily into your cloud environment. So these are the training prerequisites. Tomorrow I will explain all this. Now contents which we are going to learn in cloud computing. Everything here, you can guard the knowledge of servers. You can guard the knowledge of storage, network, and different subnets, and how to deploy your codes, and message queue services will come, SPS, SES, simple notification services. So many things you are going to learn in one course. Okay, any other?
Srinivas, this is regarding the fee structure. Or it is a 3,500 or something else?
So only AWS 3,500. So it is giving a package Linux plus AWS, both will come 8,500. See, previously Linux administration 6,000, AWS is 6,000, 12,000 rupees. Both combination they are giving 6,000 rupees. If you want to go for only AWS 3,500, so Linux 5,000. See, don't see of the money, how much knowledge you are gain. That is important point. Because I am having 20 years of experience, I know how we have to teach the students very easy, understandable language. I am not going to use any high-end technical words. Simply understandable words I will use. You can easily understand. So my notes is enough to get the job. Whatever the notes I'm going to send you, because you are not able to write the notes, but that scan copy notes I will send, you have to make it one copy. Then whatever I am explaining daily classes, so step-by-step notes is there, you are going to practice that one. Whatever the maximum material I am having, I will send to you. That is your, that is depending upon how much concentrate you can do on the everyday. So you can put your skills on that. Daily 1 hour, 2 hours, so practicals are required. So out of 24 hours, you have to spend 2 hours time for practicing purpose. Hands-on practice is very important. Remember, theoretical part means go to Google, what is DNS? You can simply 100 pages of theory will come. That is not important. Interview point of view, what exactly how to give the answers in one sentence. That is important. Remember. So theory, 1 hour theory, I am explaining, I am reading theory, this is DNS, that is DNS, this is DNS. So you are not going to explain of that much of pages in interview. What exactly the point they will ask, you have to give the straight question and straight answer. That type I will give the training for you. So theory part I will send, but what exactly, there is a 2 pages notes is there. Out of two pages notes, they will ask you 2 important point of questions. That is, we have to explain in interview properly. That's all. They can go for the next question, next chapter. If you give any wrong answer in that particular chapter only, they will ask many questions. Is there any other sessions? I'm going to log into another class. If you have any questions, please ask me. So tomorrow, same time, you have to continue. So we are going to, I am going to discuss what we are going to learn in AWS. What is the difference between virtualization and cloud computing? I already explained, without a virtualization, no cloud. What is the difference between virtualization and cloud? Then we are going to discuss about our contents, which we are going to discuss in AWS. So who want to come parallelly Linux? Wednesday evening, 5 o'clock, day after tomorrow, Linux administration classes will start. Not directly administration like that. Demo class I will give on the day only. First, we are going to discuss about so many things. Scratch onwards, I will explain. Now, what is the file system? What are the different types of file systems? Because in cloud also we have to work with file systems, elastic block storage, elastic file system, and S3 storage. So if you don't understand about what is file systems, so if I explain about that concepts also, you cannot understand. That is the reason. What are the different types of file systems? Disk based, network based, memory based. What is the file system layout of Windows? What is the file system layout of Linux? And how they will implement on cloud environment. So everything we are going to discuss in our classes. Okay, thank you all. Tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock, we are going to learn about, I am going to discussing about the brief introduction of the contents which we are going to learn in the cloud environment. Okay, thank you all.